Hi, this video is about solving quadratic equations that are fractional in nature. This question was posted by a niece of mine or cousin, and well, he's grade 10, but this is work that can be done by grade 10, 11, and 12s. The following equation, 3x plus 4 all over this quadratic equation here, or this quadratic expression rather, minus 2 all over 5 in brackets, you have 1 plus 3x equals to 3x plus 2. Now, there's a few steps that I would want you to follow whenever you are solving this particular equation. The first thing that we have to do is we have to factorize this part here, the 9x squared plus 18x plus 5. Now, if you have done that, and I did it here under, you will see that you arrive obviously at this factored expression here, 3x plus 5 and 3x plus 1. That is the very first thing I would advise you to do. The second thing is this part here, I would advise you to rewrite it as 3x plus 1. In fact, nothing changes here. If there was a minus sign here, then we would have changed the sign here. Suppose this was a minus and you switch them around, then the sign here changes in front of that. But since everything is addition inside the bracket, we can just swap it around. The reason why I do that is because this 3x plus 1 is a common factor with the one of the quadratic expression here. The third thing I would say one has to consider is after you have gone through considering what the denominators would be, is let them not equal to 0, because division by 0 is not possible. That simply means that if you have something like let's say you take this part and you ask yourselves what it can't be, well, it can't be equal to 0. So when you solve this particular, in order for you to know what value of x, if input here renders this particular denominator 0, and we see that if x in this particular case is equal to negative 5 over 3, then this whole equation will be undefined, or it simply not be possible. So you have to find out what values of x are we not going to consider as we are going on with this particular equation. The fourth thing is when we get expressions, and I will show later, it's very necessary to put them in brackets, and you will see in the next slide. So this is what I have here. I talked about the brackets. So this 9x squared plus 18x plus 5, this is its factored form. And obviously you see I inputted brackets there, and everywhere else where I could put brackets. Do not multiply this out because we are subtracting. And the left side has got terms, 2 terms here, so it means we are going to simplify that part. We will need the LCM, or the lowest common multiple. But what I'll do is I'll find the LCM of everything, that is the left hand side versus the right hand side. And you will realize that the LCM has to be this whole expression here, 3x plus 1, 3x plus 5, and the 5. So this particular term does not have the 5, that's why I'll multiply it throughout by 5. And this second term doesn't have the quantity 3x plus 5, and I will multiply that by 3x plus 5. And this right hand side, the 5 and the 3x plus 1 is not there, and I'll multiply throughout by that. Now once I'm done with that and the LCMs, the denominators are the same, you can actually drop them. So I'll drop them, and I'll only then work with the numerators. So if the denominators are equal, therefore the numerators will be equal. Well, it's now just a matter of you multiplying out, finding the unknowns. Be very careful when you multiply by a negative sign, it changes everything. So the next slide, well, you get 15x plus 20 minus 6x. Again, I said minus 10 here, and then equals to, then you have these two. There are many ways you can do this. All right, I'd like to show them step by step. And eventually we end up, when we do the left side, as 9x plus 10 equals to 45x squared plus 15x plus 30x plus 10. Clean that up because there are like terms here and here. The 15 and the 30x, they become 45x. And then all quadratic equations should always equal to 0, and therefore I equate everything to 0. The 10 becomes a negative 10. This 9x here, this 10 here becomes negative, as you can see. Then this 9x, which is positive, obviously you subtract both sides, so it becomes a minus. So eventually we end up with 45x squared plus 36x equals to 0. Now the only thing for you to do is to factorize, because it's two terms, and two terms are always factorized by taking out a common factor. And the common factor is 9x, and since it's a quadratic equations, there must be two answers. So 9x is equal to 0, or 5x plus 4 is equal to 0. And remember what we have said our answer should not be, and if you quickly go back, you realize that these particular answers are not the ones that are restricted. Therefore these are the solutions. Something else, go back, input this into the original fraction, see whether it checks out, and it does.